I was expecting my opponent to be Shadow Priest, but now it's looking like Reno Priest. Oh yeah, so I wanted to do this. That looks less stupid. You know, it's fine having the rank in the... Oh, it does kind of cover up the bottom, like you can't see the ETC anymore. Well, maybe we'll just turn it off for now, I don't know. Reno Demon Hunter is gonna go silly. I'm only gonna play the good ones today. And by the good ones, I mean the ones that don't aggressively bad. I could have killed that with this, but I'd rather like get my guaranteed double hell yeah. And then that's pretty good, right? Like no Raza, no original Reno, no Zephyrus for the rest of the game. Solid. Ooh, opponent's running full-on dragons. That's cool. That's pretty cool, chat, if you ask me. Not that anyone did ask me. Rip Miracle Rogue, yeah, I'm sorry about that too. When are those changes happening? You wish. You wish that was a Zephyrus. Instead, it is a Bungus. Chat, thoughts on my sick tempo? I thought I kind of got wrecked there. First recorded unique MartianBuu title. Yeah, I was advised to change that from now on, so I guess that's what I'm doing. Apparently, like, YouTube will see the same title and the same thumbnail and interpret it as spam. Which I did not realize was an issue. You were the advisor, you were. Booger did advise me of that. So I set up a quick like thing where it'll be pretty easy to make a new thumbnail every time. But yeah. Deep pockets of big title, true. True. I don't like, I just don't want to catch a weird stray on my channel for having non-unique titles and like non-unique thumb and titles, I guess. Like, I don't want to get penalized on YouTube for something stupid like that. So that's my thoughts. Also, it probably is going to help with clickability. It's just like because if you're a Marshy YouTube VOD watcher, like you can't. It's really hard to, you know, keep track of which VOD you haven't seen yet, right? Just because they're so all over the place. So should help from that degree. Stupid. Oh, you know what? I could have gone with the silence one, actually. That probably would have been good. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking, like, it'd be nice to get rid of that so that I can actually do things like this. First time catching the stream, thanks for the videos. Binged a bunch of them while sick. Well, thank you for watching, and I'm sorry you're sick. And I'm sick of this. That's my opinion. Wish my opponent would cut it out. Do I get rid of both of these ones first? I think so. Then I could either run this into that or do this, which does nothing productive. I don't know. I think it's more important to get rid of the anchor totem, so I'll do that first. Is Reno Day like Nostormo Day? Reno Day is like spaghetti day, I guess. I don't know. Should try a funny new voice like that one MTG guy. Well, that one MTG guy, doesn't that give me basically nothing? Who's that one MTG guy? Who are you and where did you get everyone's favorite card slinging Martian? I know, right? Reno Death Knight feels like it needs 2 to 3 more cards to be actually good. It's actually already kind of decent. You know, like if you compare it to other Reno decks, it's already one of the better ones. If you can believe it. I know I can't. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this thing. But with what? Yeah, I guess just with this. No, I should save this for I should save that for like a giant or something. I don't want to like put something on my board either, because I'd rather all this stuff die to the healing thing. I don't want them to trade in their things affected by the healer. Which class do you think is historically the least played in WoW, at least 21? It has been Demon Hunter after Ashes until Death Knight came out, and then it was Death Knight. Before that, like, I know that Paladin has always been disproportionately not played compared to its actual win rate. So there's a little fun fact for you. It's always been better than its play rate would suggest. I don't know that this does anything for me. I'll just do this. Blood Boil, Ancient Muir, and Hideous Husk, but no Drakari Enchanter. That would situationally be very spicy, it's true. Yo, is this the guy that plays MartianBuu called Hearthstone? True. I would say currently Hunter is the least played in Wild. I know it was not the question. Yeah, I guess Hunter actually would probably be up there for pre-Demon Hunter, pre-Death Knight. It actually didn't have a good deck for a long time. It was like Questline Hunter was its big... It had Mech Hunter for a little bit, but like Questline Hunter was its big introduction to being a real Hearthstone class. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do here. I don't like any of it. I do not like any of it, chat. I guess this helps, right? So I can do that. Take one of those. This is gonna deal 5. Clears everything but these guys. It's probably fine. We'll freeze one of them. Not Warrior. Thought I was absent for quite some time. No. I mean, like, it did. You know, there was like a year and a half, 2 years maximum where Warrior wasn't very playable in Wild, but it's had several, like, you know, Pirate Warrior, Galakron Warrior, Ankar Pirate Warrior. Like, it's had several Wild decks. Like, it's been relevant several times, whereas Hunter is his, like, the question was historically, right? So Hunter had nothing forever. Like, it had a blip with Mech Hunter, a blip. It didn't even last that long, and then it went right back to having nothing for a long time. So I wonder. Then it had Questline Hunter until Questline Hunter got nuked. Then it had Beast Hunter until Beast Hunter lost Harpoon Gun. And then it's had nothing again ever since. Not nothing, because like Reno Hunter is another one of those decks that shows up a lot less than its play rate would suggest it should. But I would say, I would definitely, of the original 9 classes, having thought about it, I would definitely give it to Hunter. As far as like historically, it's had the least impact on Wild. Hey Guapo. Chat, I think I'm gonna win this game. I guess I'll just play Reska and then play this and see how that goes for me. I wish to play this Altruist. Should I just chill on it, I guess? I guess I could trade this in. There's Egg Lion, but like super recently. We're talking about historically, you know, like everything has had some kind of pop up in Wild, but like, you know, Hunter had most of Wild. Like it still has been relevant, like a small portion of the overall scheme of things in Wild. It's just very recently been a real class. Wow, that's a dirty rat. Can't trade much in.
Do you see what must be done?
Like, can't really get rid of one of my own, which is bumming me out. I don't know if I like messed that up somehow, but I guess I'll just hit with this, do that, do that, do this, and then I'll get one trigger from that, and then wonder if I missed lethal while I was trying to be cute. Nah, we're fine. What class would I say has had the most impact? That's probably Warlock. It's like Warlock, Mage, and Paladin, I think, are probably the big ones. Maybe Rogue, actually. Don't you miss Evenlock or Odd Rogue? It's so funny how Priest had no impact anywhere, and now it always feels like it's somewhere. Yeah, like it spent the first few years of Hearthstone existing in all formats being completely unplayable, like absolutely 100% unplayable. What tier would be your big beast deck? It's tier 1, you know, approaching tier S probably. I think you know, with some slight optimization, it could probably, you know, get Katharina nerfed. By which I mean, I played that deck because a chatter had asked me for a month to play a big beast hunter with only lose conditions. So that represents my goals with that deck, if that helps you. Is DK more impactful than Hunter? No, I listed them, like, we got to Hunter once I had already said, you know, original 9 classes. But it was Demon Hunter until DK came out, and then it was DK. But if we like exclude those two, then it's Hunter. Pretty convincingly too, I think. Like, Hunter took a long time to be real. It had a blip in 2019. It had a good deck for one expansion in 2022, and then it had a good deck again in 2023 for half an expansion. And then it had nothing until, you know, Reno Hunter and Egg Hunter. You know, like it had a very, very short period in the limelight up until just very recently. Isn't S 19th letter of the alphabet? If the deck is tier S, it must be very bad. True. That's the only way to interpret that.
I see you. I see you brought guests.
I climbed a legend last month with Aggro Hunter, but with Imbue package, the new double damage beast with Rush and 8 mana spell resummon 5+ beasts. I do recommend trying it. Really fun. Nice. Nice. I played I don't want them to draw another secret, which is why I want to not play this. I would play this. I think we're gonna play this just because I don't want them to draw another secret. That is the inspiration for playing the less optimal card. I do think that there's some kind of like small beast hunter imbue rhino situation that we could do. The only reason I'm not playing that right now is because I literally just played hunter, and I want to play some slower stuff for a while. I played a bunch of like optimized meta stuff and the videos didn't get views, so I'm giving that a break. To me, the fact that tier S is real is dumb. Why are we going above A instead of below F? I agree with you very situationally. So for me, like, every tier list that includes like a tier S with a bunch of things in it, or a tier SS and a tier SSS, you know, like that type of stuff is really stupid to me. Could be worse. It's not at like, you know, it's not hitting Ramoth. But you know, it's all right. But yeah, so like when tier S is useful as a tier, it's when you have one thing or a couple things that are so absurdly above the rest of the pack that putting them with the rest of tier 1 doesn't make sense. So like and I guess it could be Flame Ward. Maybe I should have just attacked first. But like, if you're just gonna have a tier S all the time, then it should just be tier A. Like, there's no reason to have an S if it's not like, okay, this thing is like actually just busted, you know, on the pack. The best example for me is Smash Brothers Brawl. That's an easy example where Meta Knight was just absurdly broken, and so like you don't want to have like a tier 1 be just Meta Knight, right? Like you want it to be more interesting than that. But if you but you can't put Meta Knight in a tier with everything else. You know, you have to be like, okay, this one is actually just stupid broken. You know, like it's gonna be so meta warping that like there is no tier 1 other than this thing, and that's when tier S makes sense to me. But if you're just always going to have a tier S, then tier S is meaningless. It's just tier 1. We've had that a couple times in Wild, like just in Hearthstone. Like sometimes there are tier S decks in Hearthstone, but it's rarely. Like, you know, original Dark Lair Demon Seed, original Dark Lair, you know, those could be tier S decks. What's a non-Stormwind example? Supposedly, hand buff Paladin in Wild of the Barons showed up in stats as tier S, but like it was Paladin, so nobody played it. So that was really good. But I mean, it's rare, you know. It's rare, and so that you go into other oppressive formats like in Switcheroo Kael'thas. I wouldn't put Switcheroo in tier S. I feel like Switcheroo got caught in the Kael'thas storm, but yeah, the Kael'thas deck, sure. Switcheroo was just frustrating and polarizing. Its win rate wasn't that exciting. Anyways, so a good example of when things are oppressive, but there isn't a tier S deck would be post Demon Seed ban Stormwind. You had Questline Warrior, Questline Hunter, Even Warlock, and Reno Even Warlock. And then later, by the time the expansion was over, you had Ignite Mage, like when that was finally optimized. So like you had 5 decks in tier 1. And basically no tier 2. But like just because the gap was that big is my point. So like, yeah, there are a bunch of decks that are so powerful you have to pretty much play one of those or something that just like exclusively hard counters a couple of them in order to be able to play at all on Wild. You know, like that's how oppressive tier 1 was during that time period. But there's a lot of decks like that, right? Like there were 5 whole decks that were in that tier at that time. So you can't really say that there was a tier S deck. It was just tier 1 was really, really strong. Okay, so I can do this. I can do that. And then this. Trying to get more value out of my Bran while it's still here for some reason. I guess I'll take this. I don't like the Kill Jaden doesn't matter, right? Surely it doesn't. I'll take this. But yeah, we can do that. And we'll save it. I think the opponent would like some plagues. Chamber discard. Yeah, like there's a couple discard warlocks that fit the tier S probably. I think we need a situational tier P. Sometimes stands for poo, sometimes stands for perfect. Yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking. How many plagues has my opponent actually drawn? Is it like none? There we go. Draw more. Should we get double Zeph value? If I was 100% sure that I could get 2 Secret Destroyers with this Zephyrus, I would play it now. But I am more interested in beating the ice block once than getting some kind of double Zeph value. That said, like, I mean, we have the plagues for that. So like whatever, but Zeph gives me control of that on my turn, right? So they can't decide to play around it somehow. But also, like, that's the other thing is, like, what do I actually want from Zephyrus in this situation? I think the answer is not really anything. Yay! More plagues. Hello, Marshy. I am listening to your stream while I power level my Skyrim character. Godspeed. Yes, good. Play volume up. Play volume up to your heart's content. You hate the 8 hands in Hell Yeah anti-synergy. What's nice about them is you can play, like in this situation, playing Hell Yeah first is good, but with another situation where I'd actually want to play 8 hands, I would want to play Hell Yeah after. Destroy their deck first, and then when you play the Hell Yeah after, they have a higher likelihood to start drawing a bunch of plagues. So I think like they kind of have a big surface level anti-synergy, but as far as like being a pile deck, I don't think that their anti-synergy really matters too much. Like it's like canceled out by their synergy, which is 8 hands first, then Hell Yeah. And like in a lot of games, I'm not going to play one or the other. So that's the idea behind including 8 hands. You wish to match wits with me? I do not. Ugh. This is like the longest a brand has ever lived. It's pretty funny. Can you please try Reno Demon Hunter deck? I've been thinking of trying one myself, but I don't know how well it'll go. I played one recently. You can find it on my YouTube channel if you want. But yeah, I'm not gonna play it today. They can play Polk Out. That's true, and I did run out of Plague creators, didn't I? So they could Polk Out their way out of this if they tried hard enough. But then I'd have Zephyrus, so we're good. Do you think Highlander Kurtrus works with a new Demon Hunter quest? I actually have no idea. I have no idea what to guess in that regard. It's tricking me into thinking I have one more attack than I had. Or it isn't. I don't know. But anyways. Double flare. See you later, Ice Block. Finished him with the brand.